Well, hello. So you're watching this video because it's your very first asynchronous lesson and you have chosen Desmos, okay? If you don't have Desmos open up on your calculator or on your computer yet, please go do so. You're going to need to take some screenshots today. So like snippets or something like that. And so hopefully you know how to do that as well. If you change your mind, you'd rather use your graphing calculator, you can do that, but you're going to need your phone or something like that to take a picture and then submit into your Google slide. Okay, well, let's get on it. So listen, here's what you're going to do. You're actually going to be graphing two different equations. One of them is going to be 2 to the x power. Now, this is what 2 to the x looks like. This is great, but it doesn't really give you a whole lot of information without you actually, clicking on the points and kind of scrolling. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't sometimes do it for me, okay? So what we're going to do instead is we're actually going to do two things. We are going to graph this. We're going to come back to this. So what I want to do, I went ahead and typed it in, 2 to the x, but I'm going to click on this little symbol over here on the side, and it's just going to take that away from me. So I don't have to look at it right now, but at least I know it's there, okay? So if I click off of it, it's not showing it. Okay, so what I want to do is I actually want to go in and add a table because I want to look at the numbers and really look at this graph in more detail. So I'm going to go to the plus sign where it says add item, and I'm going to add a table of values. Okay, now the x numbers that I want to look at, I can put in these x numbers that are down here on the x-axis if I want, but we don't have to quite do all of that. So I'm just going to start at -3, and I'm going to go -2 and take a look at what happens with my table, right? It's like adding in these values for me. So I can just kind of hit enter a couple times, okay, until I get down to a number that is okay or decent. And you can certainly stop at 5 if you want. When you go to put in 2 to the x, this is the part that's weird. So what I want my table to do, and Desmos is really cool like this because it will calculate it for me, but I want it to do 2 to the x power, but I need to tell it to do these numbers over here. So when I put in an x, I have to put in x1 because I want it to do these values, okay? And then take a look. It actually gives me the values and the points, and I can just kind of look at those numbers a little bit more in depth and in detail. So as I'm looking at these numbers, okay, so by the way, you're going to take a screenshot of this and you're going to add it into your thing, but I do want to talk about it really quick. So remember that anything raised to the 0 power, right, is just a 1. And so when you put in a 0, you're going to get 1. So that's kind of cool. 2 to the first power is just 2. 2 squared. 4. 2 to the cubed is 8. Okay. Now here's something else that's really cool that Desmos does. If you go up here to this purple thing, you need to click and hold, and this little window pops up. Okay, so one more time, you're going to click and hold. The window pops up, and you want to click on line. So as soon as I click that button, notice how it drew the line for me, and I can see it over here. Okay, and I can move this around and scroll in and out. Now, keep in mind, it's going to stop at 6 and 64. Right? Oh, look, it actually kept going for me, so that's kind of cool, but my dots definitely, right, my points definitely stopped. All right, so let's go back in to where we normally would be, and again, look, you can see what these points are. Okay, now remember when I typed it in originally, right, it was up here. If I click on this, it's right on top of it. It's yellow or red, right? And so the red graph went right on top. So it is the same thing. But again, I'm able to look at these numbers and these points just a little bit clearer. Okay, so don't forget, you're going to do this same thing. You're going to go type those in, and you're going to take screenshots of both your table and the picture that pops up with the points on it and add those into your Google slide. Then you're going to add in a table. And you're going to do the same thing, right? -3, -2, -1, go to 5 or something. And you're going to tell it to do 1/2 to the x. Now, I caution you, make sure that you put 1/2 inside parentheses. And then on the outside of the parentheses, you put your x value. Now, for some reason, your table has changed to an x2. Make sure you tell it to do x2. 2. So it's going to do these values. And again, you're just going to look at and see what the difference is between those two graphs. Okay? Have fun.